Hi and welcome to Healthy Life Hacks. I'm Jefferies, the present-day wise woman, a realistic naturopath coming to you from the surfing beaches of Australia. This podcast is for those of you who are wanting to really rock your life and health and live from a place of prevention. Let's get into today's episode. Did you know that around 17% of women aged 18 to 50 experience vaginal dryness during sex? And did you know that it's about half of the post-menopausal women that experience dry vaginas? I am a post-menopausal woman, and I want to talk about this because this kind of thing doesn't get talked about enough, and it's really, really, really common. And I wanted to speak into my experience, well, with me in my life, but also with patients that I've worked with over the last 30 years as a naturopath. So let's start first with the kind of anatomy and physiology part. There are these little glands called the Bartholin's glands, two little glands at the entrance to the vagina, and they produce the moisture to lubricate you during sex. That's what they do. By the way, the things that you see on the outside of your body, that's your vulva, not your vagina. Vagina is kind of like the birth canal part. So what you see on the external part of your body is your vulva. So I want to refer to that just to get that piece kind of right. A lot of women don't realize that. And I know I didn't for a lot of years when I was younger, before I studied and learned this stuff. So during sex, it is most common for a woman to experience that vaginal dryness during sex because they're simply just not sexually aroused properly yet. And so whether there hasn't been enough foreplay or psychological reasons like lack of connection to a partner or stress, just life, that they are the main kind of reasons why. And I'm going to dig into all of this today. The reality is that dry vagina gets to the state that even the tiniest amount of friction, like even day-to-day kind of life and walking around and all those things, can cause pain and discomfort. So dry vagina from lack of lubrication is different to dry vagina from irritation from, soaps and swimming in a pool or chemicals and washing powders and all those things. Just wanted to clarify that as well. So what's meant to happen is that there's a natural lubrication that's produced by little glands at the neck of the womb. That's the cervix area. And it's meant to keep the vagina supple and moist. And that moisture is meant to slowly move down through the vagina, keeping it clean and removing dead skin cells. And as a naturopath, we talk about your mucous membranes. Your mucous membranes are anywhere open to the outside world. So, ears, eyes, nose, mouth, bum, vagina. All those areas are classed as mucous membranes. And the body has a natural lubrication that's meant to happen to protect those areas because they're exposed to the world where the rest of us is sealed by our skin. And the vaginal moisture is meant to be a little bit acidic to keep it all healthy. That's it, to prevent infections with things like thrush and that. Again, playing with the anatomy and physiology part of our bodies. Remember, menopause is technically one day, the day that you celebrate 12 months since your last bleed. So technically, women are all perimenopausal or premenopausal or postmenopausal. That one day is menopause, is the day that you celebrate your 12 months since your last bleed. So I am very much postmenopausal, lost my period around 49. I remember I lost it in the January of the year that I turned 49. It disappeared. It came back about September or the October, came back for a day, bled, and that was it. So it's been gone, more than 10 years now. Yay! It's so good to be barren. Just want to say that. Anyway, but during this time, during menopause, the body's not producing estrogen. Okay. And so what happens is that the estrogen is generally needed to support the tissues of the lips, the vulva. Remember I said the vulva is the part that you see on the outside of your body, vagina, and that's on the inside. And so when that happens, the vagina can become less elastic. The lining can become thinner and it can become dry. And that friction during intercourse can absolutely hurt like hell, can create bleeding. But also then it has a knock-on effect of contributing to that I'm too scared to have sex kind of feeling. That's real. It's really real. And so then there's a decrease in sexual desire and arousal, and it creates this kind of flow-on effect and can really cause physical and emotional kind of problems that can run through everyday kind of life, whether women are sexually active or not. So I wanted to talk today about physical kind of benefits or ways that you can help, but also the emotional, because whether we like it or not, we are emotional women. We just are. And our emotions, everything like anxiety or sadness or, there's so much emotion that can be attached to going through menopause. I remember my mum, she swears she was only put on this earth to make babies, to make kids. And so when we all left home, she went through a huge grief and loss of identity around who she was and what she was. And no, I don't know what her sex life was, but absolutely, I know she struggled with so many of those kind of things. So there's a lot that just goes on emotionally, which is why I want to talk about that stuff too. So it is really common for women to lose interest in sex during this time. And bottom line is that can come back. Your interest can come back as your body comes more back into physical and emotional balance, because it's the physical and emotional imbalances that create the dry vagina and then the emotions that flow onto it. And it's really common that women can lose both self-confidence and sexual confidence. Now, if you have not watched it yet, please go to Netflix and watch Goop. Goop is a show that's been created by Gwyneth Paltrow, and it's kind of like a documentary. And they did a great episode. It's actually episode number 3 called The Pleasure Is Ours. And they just explain the mechanics of pleasure, as in orgasms and everything, but also great ways to get familiar with your body. And if you haven't done that, I really encourage you to watch that show. I think they've tackled a subject that doesn't get talked about often enough really, really, really well. So go to Netflix if you're a Netflix kind of chick. Now, the medical system, they work a little bit differently to us naturopaths, and they'll usually go, okay, so they're looking at the end result. So the end result is dry vagina. So they'll prescribe things like a vaginal estrogen cream or tablet or a ring or something to help to get those vaginal tissues working again. But the problem is you're not meant to have those estrogen levels at this time in our lives. And so that's where you start getting other health challenges from, by giving us a hormone we're not meant to have at this time. As a naturopath, and through this whole series, I've talked so much about how the adrenal glands are where all your stress hormones are produced. They're also where your reproductive system hormones are produced. So your testosterone, your estrogen and progesterone, that's it. But also then your thyroid as well. So what we're wanting to do as a naturopath, I take the step behind. So go back to my episodes, and I'll put a link in the show notes to my episodes on adaptogen herbs. That has to be part of the picture. So the adaptogens help our body to just play with hormones better. The reduction in estrogen in our lives at this age is 100% normal. I'm not a fan of bringing estrogens in to tell our body that it's doing something that it shouldn't be doing at this time in our lives. So take the step behind. I go for the adaptogen herbs, help my adrenal glands be working happily so that the natural hormone progressions that are meant to happen can happen. The thing that determines whether a woman has crappy menopause or not when she reaches this time is tight adrenal glands, because that natural progression of hormones isn't able to happen the way it's meant to. But in the meantime, that's all great to do that. Go to my show notes and you'll be able to check out, a link to the herbs that I use. But I wanted to talk about, on a practical basis right now, maybe you've got dry vagina and it's really uncomfortable during sex, or maybe it just in day-to-day kind of movement around. So you can use vagina moisturizers. Now, there's some stuff you can get in the chemist that's just pretty scary. I think I'm a fan of jojoba oil. Now, jojoba, the plant it produces an oil that is, it's like a liquid wax, and it's the same consistency as the sebum, the oil in our skin. And it is non-scented. It's a neutral. It's actually one of the oils that I use in my face moisturizer, but it is excellent for helping to work as a vaginal moisturizer, close to nature, plant-based, love it. That's good. From a lubricant point of view, during sexual intercourse, kiwi fruit. No, you don't use a kiwi fruit, but there's lubes you can get nowadays that are actually made from kiwi fruit. non-sensitizing, really simple, close to nature. That's what I would recommend. The other thing we want to do is we want to slow down. We want to slow down so that our body physically, the Bartholin's gland is able to produce that maximum amount of lubrication before sexual intercourse. And that's all about reconnecting with our partners. So I'm going to talk more about that shortly. In the meantime, right now, on a physical level, I also want to talk a little bit about nutrition. Now, I've talked about omega-3 essential fatty acids in the past, and they're super, super, super cool. And they're essential fats that our body can't make on their own. They're really important for brain and heart health, but they're also important for lubrication in our body. So whether you're trying to lubricate joints because you're getting problems with things like arthritis and that, or even simply that you're wanting that, all of our mucous membranes, remember everything open to the air, ears, eyes, nose, mouth, bum, vagina. We're wanting all those kind of lubricated. Well, then I'm a big fan of flaxseed oil. So you can get that in capsule form or in liquid form. The liquid form, make sure you store it in the fridge. Even if you've got capsules, make sure you store it in the fridge. I'm not a fan so much of fish oils, more of a fan of flaxseed oil because it's plant-based and I'm vegetarian, but your choice what you want to go there. If you are experiencing dry vagina right now, I would encourage you to do 3 capsules. That's about 9 grams per day, three times a day, until it starts to settle. Okay. If you're going to do it liquid in one of your nutrition shakes or something like that, if you're going to take the liquid, you're looking at about 2 teaspoons a day. And that's going to help that way. The other one that you mightn't have thought of is omega-7 essential fatty acids. And these comes from sea buckthorn. Now that's a shrub that kind of grows on the sandy coasts. Like I live at the Gold Coast. So it's a plant that does that. And the sea buckthorn's got these really cute little orange berries. And from that, they're able to take an omega-7 essential fatty acid. The reason I love sea buckthorn is the fact that it's really essential to the health of our body's mucous membranes. Remember, everything that's open to the air, absolutely including the vulva. So you might want to check out some sea buckthorn, check out your health food shop or wherever you buy your supplements. That would be the go. Moving on from nutrition, then we've got things like yoga. Yoga is excellent for helping to bring circulation to the area. Certain postures, Google it, you'll find it super easy. Good old boring pelvic floor exercises are not boring. They're really essential for bringing blood and circulation back to that area. The reality is, if we're stressed on a day-to-day basis, the whole adrenaline cortisol thing that happens is going to throw our body out. It's going to throw our body out, and it's absolutely leading to more episodes, so to speak, of a dry vagina. So we've got to look at our stress adaptogen herbs, what I use, and really recommend for helping your body to adapt to stress, because we can't make stress go away. And if you've been experiencing dry vagina, the stress of worrying about if that's going to happen again feeds the problem. So now let's talk emotions. I don't think people talk about emotions anywhere near enough. I just think we don't. And what I know even for myself, in past relationships, I've emotionally shut down at different times when something's been going on. I know that when stress, worry, overwork, life, all those kind of things are in the way, our body almost physically says, holy shit, you're not even dealing with life. I'll be buggered if I'm going to let you be able to make babies. And so it shuts off the libido. And I've done a past episode about increasing your libido. The reality is we can't escape the fact that our bodies and minds are connected. And whatever's going on in our head, somehow it makes its way all the way down between our legs and totally affects what's going on. There's an interesting bloke. I was reading some research, a guy by the name of Dr. John Gottman. What his research showed was that the number one thing that couples fight about, it isn't money and it isn't like your in-laws and stuff. And it's actually not even sex. It's about not being connected, that heart connection. That's the number one thing that people in relationships fight about. It's huge. The reality is, as a woman, and speaking from myself too, absolutely, when we're not feeling connected to our partner, the flow on is huge. It just is. It's huge. So if you're not been feeling connected with your partner and you've been having dry vagina, I promise Those two things are connected. So I want to talk about a couple of things about reconnecting with your partner, because you can do all the physical stuff till the cows come home. You can take the adaptogen herbs. You can use your omega-3s and omega-7s. You can, use your jojoba oil during the sex. But I want to come to the place where we're coming from a place of prevention and we're not waiting to experience a problem. That's what I'm all about. And so we have to look at how we're connected to our partners. And every relationship over time has the ability for partners to become disconnected. Like I said, this is not my first relationship that I'm in. I've learned so much about relationships as I've gone through, and I'm still learning today. What I know and what his research showed was that every kind of connected moment in your relationship builds up like a bank account, and your body's able to draw on those during hard times. Now, the same way, if you're not connected, it's like it does a withdrawal from that emotional bank account, and you end up being in debt and disconnected. And that's where trust and intimacy and all those things erode, because we need to feel safe and loved for any kind of chance of, a wonderful, blissful lovemaking session to actually happen. And like I said before, stress, worry, overwork, lack of connection will turn off your libido faster than anything. So in this research, John Gottman, he talked about getting couples to turn towards each other. So literally to connect again. And that turning towards each other are brief little points of connection. It's not like a whole 10-page essay, oh, I love you, all that kind of stuff. No, it's these little points that can happen anywhere, anytime during the day that can help bring connection. Now, that sometimes there'll be funny things, or sometimes they'll just be you loving on the person. It can be verbal or it can be non-verbal. There's so many different ways. So I wanted to list a few of them that he found in his research, and then I'll take it from there. The first one's like gentle touch. Touch is huge. I'm a touch kind of person. Holding my hand is the most romantic gesture. The most intimate way I can feel safe and loved is to have my partner hold my hand. It's the truth. That's it. So that gentle kind of touch is huge for me. It might be a hug. It might be a kiss. It might be a smile. It might be just a kind remark. It might be just sitting with your partner and actually listening to them and helping them be heard. It might be a playful gesture. It might be whatever you do in your relationship, just that fun little thing that goes, oh, that's so cute. They love me. It might be some encouraging words. It might be you sharing your excitement for something cool that's going on that can, that they can get excited about as well. It can be saying I love you, but it can also be showing that I love you. So we all have, and I'm going to talk about love languages in a minute, but we've all got different ways of receiving the words. And for me, just getting the words I love you doesn't mean anywhere near as much as having my partner hold my hand. It is worlds apart for me. And I'll explain why in a minute. But it's whatever that thing is for you. The thing to do is to communicate, to love on them the way they need to feel the love. This is it. And then, like I say, they're not big 10-page essay kind of things. They're the little bite-sized things. If you did one bite-sized little thing a day, how would you feel if your partner reached out to you and you got the cutest little message? Or it might be, a little text or an emoji or a Giphy of, a hug or a cuddle or something. How would you feel? Yeah, I'm sure you would go, oh, it's lovely. We do. Now, if it hasn't happened for a while because you're both leading, busy, hectic lives and you're waiting for the other one to go first, well, the reality is you're going to be waiting a bloody long time because everyone's doing their best. Everyone's doing their best. But the reality is we've got to give what we want to receive. And I encourage you to be the one to go first. Tony Robbins, I really enjoy that man's work. And he shares such a really cool story. Think about when you first get together in a relationship, or when you first got together in your relationship. It's like, you're there at your partner's place, or they're at your place, or whatever, and you go, you realize it's bin night. You got to put the rubbish bins out, and it's like, oh, it's all right, darling. I'll do it. I'll grab the bins and I'll go and put them out. And you do, and they go, oh, they love me because they put the bins out, and that's great. It's like an act of service. But after you've been in the relationship for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is, it's like, your partner asks you to put the bin out and you go, what the fuck? Put the bin out. You can put the bin out. Instead of, imagine we do the same things that we did when we were first in the relationship, instead of getting into that complacent kind of groove that happens. All those things that they take stuff out of the bank, the emotional bank account, these bite-sized little bits, absolutely put it back in, so that when life is tough, you've got a reserve that you can draw on. And like I say, we've got to be the one to go first, and we want to be putting more in. And at first you might have to put in 10 pieces to get one piece out, but someone's got to start the game. And you know how you'll feel with that happening. And if it's manifesting for you, if that lack of connection, which is really common in our age group, because you've got the career, you've got the life, the kids are left home, all that stuff, your body's going, what's next, physically and emotionally. And there is so often a lack of connection in the relationships, because you've generally been together for a while. So what I really encourage you to do, and something that I've totally done, is I think that the 5 Love Languages book is bloody excellent. It's been around for a long time now, but I actually use the 5 love languages even with business colleagues, so I can understand how they need to kind of be heard and feel loved. Different, obviously, to the love that I'm going to have with my partner, but it's real. So the 5 love languages are words of affirmation. So that's someone saying, gosh, Jen, you did a great job. Cool. Acts of service, taking the bloody rubbish bins out. Like, it's huge. My partner jumps into, because my skin doesn't like my pumpkin patch at the moment. My pumpkin patch is so robust, it kind of prickles my skin. And my partner jumped in the other day and got in there and sorted out my pumpkin patch. I can't tell you, that was just wonderful. And of course I told her that, but it was wonderful. Receiving gifts. So some people are great at receiving gifts. What is, flowers, presents, whatever. I'm not the gift girl. Don't buy me a gift. The act of service or hold my hand means more to me than gift. The acts of service or physical touch, which is, the next one, hold my hand, means more for me and helps me feel loved more than just giving me gifts. And then the last love language is quality time, actually having time to sit down and whether, chat to your partner and have each other feel heard and connected. Now, we all have different ones. Mine, physical touch, is absolutely number 1. And then acts of service is number 2. That's it. Then number 3, quality time, and it goes down. Receiving gifts is my last love language. Now, do I still enjoy to receive a gift sometimes? Yeah, for sure. I really do. But it's not a driver for me. It's not a driver for me. And so even, the words of affirmation, someone, my partner saying to me, I love you, doesn't have the same connection for me as my partner holding my hand. That physical touch, or, just a little bit of touch, whatever it is. So I really encourage you, if you're feeling not as connected to your partner as you want to be, and it's showing up maybe with dry vagina in your body, and even if it's not showing up as vaginal dryness, I really encourage you to do this. But both of you have got to do it. You've got to work out what your love language is, so that you can do the little messages, or the sending me a little gifty or a little emoji, or a say I love you, or share some excitement in the world, or a physical gesture, or whatever it is, or just a smile, a hug, a kiss, gentle touch, not having to lead to anything else, just to have them feel cared for. You want to do it in the way that they like to receive it, not the way you like to receive it. That's the thing, guys. That's the thing. Because it's easy to do it the way we want, and then we think they'll magically work out that's what we want. Well, they bloody won't, because everyone's just too busy in their own life. And so we've got to go first. So the number 1 healthy life hack for this episode is actually encouraging you and your partner to do the 5 love languages test. Go to the show notes. I'll have the link right there. Click it. It's free. I promise it's worth it to know how your partner needs to be loved. You might be surprised. You really might be surprised. Healthy life hack number 2 is to actually send a message, some kind of love, a little thing right now to your partner. If you're not in a relationship, send it to yourself. But whether it's a Giphy or an emoji or the words, I love you, or just a cute little smile selfie, whatever it is, your thing. Or whether it's, hey, babe, love to be able just to sit and have a chat to you tonight when you finish work. I really look forward to just sitting and being with you tonight. Whatever is your language, whatever it is, do it right now. Don't put it off. Go, yeah, I'll do that. No, do one right now. I really challenge you to do it. We have no idea what's going to happen in life in the next 5 minutes. Holy shit, especially at the moment, the world changes every day. Don't put this stuff off. It's really important. Healthy life hack number 3 is that created as a system, because you've maybe been out of the habit of doing these little love messages, little love notes, or whatever you want to call them. Set an alarm or a reminder or something in your calendar so that even if it's once a week or once a day, you remember to do, it's like a planned spontaneity is okay to remind you to love on your partner. Then you rise the chance that they'll love on you back. And that all starts leading to what you want it to be. And then healthy life hack number 4 is to speak from your heart and ask your partner to slow down during sex. If you are experiencing vaginal dryness, you need to be sufficiently aroused to be able to enjoy the process. So speak from your heart and share with your partner what the experience has been and how you would love to enjoy it more, because I know they're going to get off on it more too. Slow down, but speak from your heart and share what you need. And I really encourage you to go and watch that episode of Goop, episode 3 of Goop on GWP on Netflix. It's really cool. If you wanted to get the show notes, get those couple of links, including the links to the 5 love languages quiz and book, head over to the show notes. That's easy at www.healthylifehacks.com.au, and tune in for the next episode. I'll be talking about what's it going to take for you just to go, you know what? Me and my health is my greatest priority. It just has to be. I want to thank you for being here today. If you enjoyed my podcast, please let me know by leaving a review on Apple Podcast. Every month, I draw one lucky person who leaves a review on Apple Podcasts to have a free 1-hour consultation with me. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you're tuning in from so that you always catch the next episode. And if you would like to receive a free copy of my Feed Your Body ebook, simply click the link in the comments below. Join my newsletter and we will get that free ebook sent to you. I welcome your emails, and you can write to me at podcast@healthylifehacks.com.au. Until next time, remember, when it comes to life, live it, love it, and get on with it.